This is the video for the Try It section of Lesson 16, User-Defined Functions. For this lesson, you create a user-defined function that tests whether a cell contains a comment. If the cell that you're evaluating does contain a comment, the UDF will return the text of that comment, and if the cell does not contain a comment, the UDF will return the string no comment. There is no built-in function or formula in Excel that can do this. You need to use VBA in some fashion, either as a macro or as a UDF, to return the text of a comment belonging to another cell. So, because you need VBA, you need to go into the Visual Basic Editor, either by pressing the Alt F11 keys with whatever version of Excel you're using, or if you're using versions 2007 or 2010, click the Developer tab in the ribbon and the Visual Basic icon. UDFs and macros have one thing in common. They both go into the same kind of module. So just as if you were going to be creating a macro, you'll still click Insert from the VBE menu bar and Module, and there is your standard module that you're going to be entering in your function. To enter your function, you start by typing in the word function. Now sometimes you have seen the word public in front of functions when you see them on the web, or someone else who might have created a UDF. You'll see the word public. VBA will infer that if you don't have the word public in front of your function, then it is meant to be a public function. Sometimes people put it in there anyway. I've just put it in there now, so we might as well keep it. You can also declare a function as private, but here it's a public function and we've named it public, so fine enough. The name of the function we're going to create will be called getComment. Every single time you create a user-defined function, you will always have a pair of parentheses immediately after the name. Those are argument parentheses, just as if they were a worksheet function with parentheses that go after that. Parentheses will go after a user-defined function name where you will place arguments in there. Now, if you think about it, what this UDF is going to do is evaluate a particular cell, and a cell is a range type object. So I am going to enter in a variable type name of range and declare it as a range type, and there I have my argument of RNG as range. Now the reason why I did that is that when we go back to the worksheet to test and use this UDF, you're going to start that formula with an equal sign, as you do with every formula in Excel, and you're going to enter in the words getComment because that's the name of this UDF, and then you're going to hit the open parentheses key on your keyboard, and you're going to type in the cell address that you are evaluating for the existence of a comment. So it might be cell J5 or B11 or whatever the cell is that you will put in this pair of parentheses when you're actually going to be entering in the UDF. So that is why you had to identify and name an argument here as range, as the range type argument. Now because this getComment UDF is going to return either the text of a comment, or if the cell being evaluated doesn't have a comment, the UDF is going to return the text no comment. In either case, it's going to return a string type of item. And so because a string of some kind will be returned one way or the other, you can say that getComment is a function that will return a string. When you press the Enter key, the end function statement is entered for you by VBA, just as the end subline is entered for you if you were writing a macro. I'm pressing Enter a few times to give myself a little bit of room to enter some code. The first thing you want to do is to declare a string type variable for the string that the getComment function is going to end up returning. It's going to be one kind of string or another. It's either going to be the comments string or it's going to be the string no comment. But in either case, it's going to be a string, so I'm going to call the string variable name str text and declare it as string. Next is a simple if structure to say that if the range you're evaluating, that is why you declared this cell address that you're going to be entering into the worksheet as RNG, as the range type variable. If RNG.comment is nothing, you're saying if the cell that you're evaluating does not have a comment, then the string text variable will equal no comment. Otherwise, you want the string text variable to be equal to the cell you're evaluating, that's the range, type object, comment.text. It's really that simple in this case. And end if. Finally, for your user-defined function, you need to associate the getComment name, which is what you're going to be placing into the cell as the name of the UDF. You need to associate that with the string text variable. So all you need to do is to say getComment equals string text. And that's it. Now I'm going to press Alt-Q to come back to the worksheet. And in cell B3, I'm going to select that. I'm going to right-click the cell, and I'm going to select Insert Comment. And I'm just going to enter in a quick comment. This is a test comment in lesson 16. And maybe I'll select cell C10, and I'm going to insert another comment. This is another comment. Terrific. Now you can test your user-defined function. I'm going to select some cell here, and I'm going to enter the equal sign, which you always do with any formula, and I'm going to enter in getComment. And here is where those argument parentheses come into play. I'm going to enter in a cell that I'm interested in evaluating, and in this case I'll use B3 because I know that has a comment, so we're going to test that and press the enter key just as if it were a formula, and there is the text of this cell B3's comment. If I were to reselect this same cell here with the UDF in it and enter in C10, the UDF will dutifully return this cell's comment text. If I were to enter the UDF again and enter in some other cell, let's say F5, then the UDF will return no comment because that was how we coded it in the function. So that is an example of how to compose a user-defined function. You name it, you supply it with a set of arguments depending on what the UDF is doing that you wanted to accomplish. And I'm just going to go back to the Visual Basic Editor here for a moment. And then you supply what kind of result the user-defined function is meant to return. In this case, it's a string result. And here you build your user-defined function as depending on what it is that it is supposed to return. And then going back to the worksheet here, you enter your UDF just as you would any other formula or function and enter in the argument as you have coded it. And that is an example of creating and entering a user-defined function.